All right. In this walkthrough, I'm going to show you how to use simple lists. And what I've done here is I've written out in sort of general English what I want my program to do. So I'm going to ask the user what's the capital of New York. I'm going to list 4 choices for the answer. I'm going to define a variable holding the correct answer. I'll display the choices, have the user pick a choice by typing a number, and then I'll check if the user chose the correct answer. All right, so the first thing we know is we already know how to ask, just print a question. So what is the capital of New York? That's straightforward. Now the next step, we're going to define our first list. So like any variable, we can put any name we want to the left. Lists should always have a plural name because lists are plural by nature. You will drive programmers insane if you give a list a singular name. So always make sure it's plural. Choices, options, cities would all be perfectly good choices here. And then a list can contain any values you want in order separated by commas. So in this case, the 4 choices are all going to be strings, so I'll use quotes for them. So I'll say Albany. That's the correct choice. New York, Buffalo, Boston. Okay. The answer is Albany. And then I will display the 4 choices. So to display the choices, what I want to do is really loop through the list one item at a time. And then print the number plus the item. So to do this, I will first have to I'll go ahead and just define a counter variable. So number equals 1. A lot of programmers would just write n equals 1 there. And then the way we loop through a list is we're going to say 4, and we're going to define a new variable that's going to be the variable that holds each item as we loop through. Traditionally, you would use the singular, so for choice in choices, and that's pretty easy to read. We're gonna, in other words, this next block of code will repeat once for each choice in choices, and each time this block runs, choice will change what it is. So like choice will be Albany, then New York, then Buffalo, then Boston. So now I'm going to print, and I'll use my format string. See, this autocomplete struggles with format strings. All right. There we go. And we will say number, and then choice. And the only thing we have to add then, add 1 to number. So number equals number plus 1. Remember, equals is an assignment. So we're going to take what number was, which is 1, and we're going to set it to that plus 1. So now it'll be 2. All right. Next step, I'm going to go ahead and ask the user to give me an answer. So and we'll do this type checking we've done before. So type, well, the type of answer is not equal to an integer. We will try answer equals, oops, hold on, I made a mistake. I have 2 things called answer, so that's a good sign that I wasn't being, let's call the correct answer. All right, and then this will be the user's answer. All right, so try answer equals int of answer, except if we can't convert it to an int, then we will make answer equal to input. Please type a number. Okay. I hadn't written the pseudocode for that. That's just type checking that I get a number. And now user choice is going to equal to, what we have to do is take the answer and get that item out of the list. The way we do that is with the bracket notation. So here, I'll just show you in the console quickly. If I had options equals Boston, New York, Buffalo, Chicago, right? I put a bracket and then a number. So if I say 1, I get New York. Now that's a little confusing because you would think this is saying give me the first item. If I say 2, I get Buffalo. 3, I get Chicago. So how do I get Boston? Well, list indexes start at 0. And that's traditional in all programming languages. We start counting from 0. So options 0 is Boston, options 1 is New York, options 2 is Buffalo. Now we've asked the user to type a number 1 to 4. So their answer is going to be a number. So we're going to have to subtract 1 from the answer to get the correct option out of the list. And then now we have to check if user choice equals correct answer. You got the right answer. Else print no dice. All right, let's go ahead and give this a try. What is the capital of New York? I'll say Buffalo. All right, and we could actually improve this a little bit. I'm just going to go ahead and say no dice. User choice is not the capital. Is not correct. So now we can see which answer they chose. No dice Buffalo is not correct, and then let's try getting it right. 1 Albany. You got the right answer. Beautiful. All right. So I have now completed this little pseudocode. Well, turning the pseudocode, which is the comments, into real code, and I created my first list. If you're making a quiz program, what you probably are going to do is actually have a list of questions, and that would let you, to do that, you would want to take this whole thing and turn it into a function. So I'm going to go ahead and refactor. You can stop watching here if you want, but I'll just show you how I would do that. I'm going to define a new function called ask multiple choice question. And to do that, I have to think about what parameters I need. So I need to know the question. That's the what is the capital is New York. And I can actually, if I want to, just make this work. This capital with an O. It's with an O. I can set a default option for each parameter with the equal sign like that. So I'm just going to do that. So this is going to get replaced with whatever the value of question is. All right, the next thing I need is the choices. And I'm going to go ahead and replace that. And I don't even need this choices here anymore because that gets defined in the function. Oops, just one equal sign there. And the last thing I need is the answer. Oops. The correct answer, which is Albany. So when you pass parameters to a function, it's sort of like defining variables. So these define statements I can erase because those are getting now put into my new function. And now I can take everything that I wrote here, select it, and I'm going to just hit tab to indent it one level. All right, so now all of this is inside of this function. If I run the code now, nothing should happen because all I've done is defined the function. And now my next step is going to be to call my function. If I call my function with no parameters, because I set all the default parameters, it should still work. All right. All right, and now to make it more interesting, and you'll notice the auto hinting knows that I defined it and reminds me what I need to do. So the first thing I have to give it is the question. So I can go ahead and give it a question. So what's another question we'll do? What is the capital of Massachusetts? And then choices are going to be equal to a list, so I can go ahead and give a list. So I will say Boston, Worcester, Springfield, Washington. And then the correct answer is going to be Boston. All right, if I go ahead and run this, what is the capital of New York? I'll get it right this time. It is Albany. Capital of Massachusetts is Boston, correct. All right, beautiful. So I've now made my little program. If you are clever, you might notice that really probably my questions are also going to be a list. And I'll show you a very simple way to do this. This gets a little fancy, but we can actually put a list inside of a list. So all right, so now I could say, for example, capital of Mass. And I could say all right, let's give this a try. All right, capital of Mass. All right, so I can get rid of these. And now what I'm doing is I'm looping through a list of lists. So this is a little confusing to look at, but we could also, if we wanted to maybe make it a little easier to read, I could do this. I can put the questions in their own variable, like that. And so the only rule here, each of my questions, or maybe I should call these items because they're more than just a question. Each of my items has a question, a set of possible answers, and an answer. All I need to do to add a new one is to just go in here and create a new item. Question. Choices. answer. And there I just made myself a little template. So if I wanted to make like 10 more questions, I would just add more of these like this. And I just have to put in the data for each one. So I'd type in the question, type in the choices, and so on and so forth. And then I'm looping through them and running them. So this is now pretty fancy. I've got a list used for my multiple choice questions inside of here. And then I have an actual list here. There's a bunch you could do to clean this program up. We should probably check, for example, that they're typing a number that is actually in the right number. But this is a pretty good chance to get started. One more handy thing I'll just show you here. If I want to make it choose the correct number, instead of saying 1 to 4, I can say 1 to len choices, which will tell me how long choices is. So I think, let's just test this quickly. Let me try adding this one only has 3 choices. I'll make this next one have 5 choices. Here it says, what is the answer? 1 to 3. And then here it says, what is the answer? 1 to 6. So that's now correctly showing the number based on the list. All right, this is probably a long enough demo now. That's a pretty good list walkthrough, how to use lists, making your questions.